So I think we're back again. Can we check that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you can continue.
Okay. I think we're gonna wrap the last 15 minutes to get back to it. We actually created a table called people and give that a primary key called ID, and we use the default settings, and after that we created a lambda function project and created two functions. One is called insert person and the other one is called fetch person. We also created a models for these operations. Person class looks like this. It actually has a ID and has the name and surname properties in it. And for the fetch operation, we created separate class for it, and it has actually only the ID parameter. So, in the insert person function, we give that we made it async first, and made it return person object, and as an input, it has the same model. It's for the operation for the inputs itself, or actually returns the result for you. So you can use that model on the next step, etc. And at first we created a Amazon DynamoDB client. After that we load the table. Our table is called people, and created a document to put that in our table and populate it with the properties in the person class, and at last put the item in the people table and return the input too. On the fetch, we actually created the client and table references too, and we actually at the get item state. So we're going to get the document from the DynamoDB and parse that as a person object to return it from this lambda function. So we're going to await that, and as a result, it will give me a document. So I'm going to call document. Actually, I'm going to name it pDocument as the previous lambda function, and document has a method called toJSON. I'm going to call that now toJSON. It will give me a string representation of that document. I'm going to parse that with JSON convert dot deserialize object and give that a type of person. It will actually give me a person object to return, and I will simply return that object. That's it. So let's go ahead and publish these lambda functions. Okay.
Good job.
For the name, let's publish the insert function first. Insert person function. I'm going to call it that. As a function, I'm going to give the insert function to publish. Insert person as I type actually offers an import. And our framework is NetCore app.2.1. It looks good. And I checked the profile too. Make sure the profile actually capable of doing this type of operations first. Otherwise, you're gonna have to deal with the errors. So I will use the AWS Lambda Full Access Managed policy for this Lambda and click Upload. This will actually upload the insert function. Remember, we will have to publish the fetch operations function separately. So after this done, we're gonna publish the other fetch operation function. Let's wait for it. Oops. Oh god. This error again. I forget the build. It's. I have to remember the name too. So AWS SDK. What was it called? DynamoDB version 2. Yep, this one. I actually have to uninstall and install again.
And then build.
Build, yeah, don't forget the build.
It will be better. SDK does it for us.
But it's actually a fault of the .NET package, I think.
No.
It's really frustrating. So my build is done, and I hope the dependencies is showing me something is wrong, but let's skip that. And I'm gonna name the function as before, insert person function, and I will publish the insert person method. Next, and hopefully I'll select the AWS Lambda Full Access again and click Upload. And I hope it will publish. Okay. It's actually, yeah, restoring the packages, restores complete. Okay, it's publishing, I guess. Yeah, okay. Whew. My function is in the AWS now, and I'm going to publish the next function. It's for the fetch operation. Fetch person function, and I'm gonna publish the fetch person method as an AWS Lambda function. I'm going to have to give it a new policy because it's a separate function, and click Upload to. We're going to take a look at our functions in a AWS Management Console and make sure that they are there. And after that, we're going to create API gateway to access these functions.
Via HTTP?
Yeah, via HTTP. So our functions is up and running. Let's look at that. Lambda. And hopefully see both of them. Yeah, they are here. Insert person function and fetch person function. Now we're going to create a API gateway. Let's go ahead and hit the API gateway service. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to hit the create new API button, and I'm going to call my API person API. Yeah, it's a suitable name, I guess. And I'm going to leave the endpoint type regional, or you can change these two if you want to.
Yeah, we referred this endpoint type in our previous session.
Yeah, Word 5.
Yeah, Word 5.
And let's hit the create API button. So it will create us an empty API gateway, and we're going to add our endpoints to fetch and insert our persons, people. And I'm going to hit the action button and click the create method. It will actually, I'm planning to put these functions in a base path, core path, and use the post for fetching persons, and use the put to insert these data. For the sake of demo, in normal situations, you will have to pass the maybe ID of the your record in the path, but let's not complicate this demo further. So I'm going to use the post to fetch our persons, and use the put the insert the data. Let's configure that. In the post, I'm going to use the lambda function, and as a lambda function, I'm going to call the fetch person function. Hit save. I'm going to give the permission to call that. My post operation is actually done, and I'm going to add the other operation, put, to actually insert the data, and I'm going to configure the insert person function to call, and hit OK again to give the permission. And my API gateway configuration is done actually. I have to deploy this API to use, and I'm going to create a new stage for it. I'm going to call it default and hit deploy. So yeah, our API is done. This is the HTTP URL that I can use, and now we're going to create a console application, .NET Core console application, to consume this API and insert these person. So let's go ahead and right-click to solution, click Add, and new project. In .NET Core, select Console App and name it CodeRunner, Warp 6, and maybe Terminal. So, okay. All right. So, first, we have to actually create a HTTP client to use these API. So let's go ahead and do that. HTTP clients. So yeah, using HTTP clients. I'm going to name it clients and create a new client. So for the insert operation, I'm going to go ahead and create a anonymous object in this project, because person class is in another project. So if I want to use that, I will have to create another project and put these models into that, and maybe reference that model project to use these classes. But for the sake of the demo, I'm going to create an anonymous object to use. So I'm going to name it var person, and for the ID, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10, and for the name, I'm going to call it John, and surname, as a surname, John Doe. So, and my person is done, and I'll try to insert this person data into the lambda using lambda function to the DynamoDB. So actually, I have to copy this URL first. Let's create a URI and paste that in. And after that, let's remember we are using post to fetch items and put to insert items. So for the insert operation, I'm gonna use the put async method and give it our URI and an HTTP context. We're going to create HTTP string content. Yeah. And we're going to actually give that person object as a string, as a JSON string. So we have to JSON convert first, but before that we have to go to Nugget packages and reference the Newton's JSON, right? Let's install that. And let's try again. Yep, here it is. And serialize object. This method actually converts our object to string, and that way we're going to pass the string to our function. Let's wait that. After this request, actually, yeah, we're not going to await that because we're not in the async method. So let's create that first. Async task. Yep. And call it main async string. And call async method here and wait for it. And paste our code again. That way we can await the operation. After the put operation, let's remember that we actually returned the person object from the lambda function, and let's go ahead and get that data from the called function. So we're gonna pass that to put response, and in that response there is something called response. No, not the response, content. And in that content, we can actually read as a string. I'm going to call the read as string async method, and I'm going to await that, and we can console log that actually. Right line. That way we're going to see the response in our console. After that, we're going to try to fetch that record actually, and we're gonna use the post response to store that, and we're going to wait client post async, and we're gonna give it a URI and create string content again, because we are passing these requests as a string body, and actually we're going to have to pass a different model for it. So we're going to use the same ID to fetch, but we're going to pass a different object. I'm going to create it there too. JSON convert, serialize object, and create a anonymous object for it, and it will have the same ID the person has. And after that response, we're going to have to actually get the response content the same way. So after that, let's wait. Read key. That way, we're not going to kick out from the console. And let's hop to quick Emrah.
Should we set a startup project as console?
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Let's set the terminal as a startup project and wait for it to do its magic. So our console is up. Let's hope we're not seeing any errors. And see the result actually. It will output these same, it will output these same content as expected, because we are actually inserting the object first and fetching the data, the same object from the lambda function, and after that we're just passing the ID value to fetch our data, and it's actually giving me the same object, and that wraps up the demo.
Yeah, can we see this data in the dynamic
AWS
console?
Let's look at that. So we are heading back to the DynamoDB. So let's look at that. We're going to take a look at the tables, and my people table is here, and on the right side of the overview there's a tab called items, and I can look at the items in the table from here. And here we go. Our John Doe with ID 10 is right here.
Nice.
Actually, you can create an item from here too. So if that's your cup of tea. That's wraps up the demo, and let's go ahead and get back to the
yeah, thanks.
Our demo is over, and
thanks for watching us.
Yep, thanks for watching us, and see you next week.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.